Before starting this video, I do want to give a thank you to my patrons that support the channel. And if you would like to support the channel, there are some great benefits for you in the link down below. So with that, let's get into today's video.
Hello everyone, welcome back to PubStomp MTG. My name is Spencer and I'm here with another deck tech video for you today. Today's video is on the Balrog Durin's Bane. The Balrog costs 5 generic, a black and a red, and it's a 7/5 legendary avatar demon. 7 mana for your commander is quite a lot, however, this spell costs 1 generic less to cast for every permanent sacrifice this turn, and that ability makes it very easy to quickly get out the Balrog. This sacrifice clause essentially means that treasures are going to be doing double time for us. Jeweled Lotus is going to give us an extra mana, Lotus Petal is also going to do double time, and even fetch lands. It doesn't say non-land permanents, so fetch lands will even reduce the cost as well. So with that in mind, really we're just trying to flood the board with treasure tokens or cheap creature tokens and then sacrifice them for value, whether it's drawing cards or additional mana, and then using that to reduce the cost of our commander and using that additional mana or all the sacrificing to get him out quickly and get him out cheaply. But how do we win? Once you get the Balrog out, his other abilities, he has haste and cannot be blocked except by legendary creatures come into play. So it's really hard to block the Balrog, which means we're trying to go in and win through a Voltron strategy. Notice also that the Balrog has 7 power, so we're through in a couple damage tripplers. We have 3 of them now, and that helps us to be able to potentially even one-shot people. For the damage tripplers in the deck, we have Jeska, Thrice Reborn, Fiery Emancipation, and the new City on Fire. We are in Rakdos colors, so it's really easy to be able to search out one of these damage tripplers, so we're going to be able to consistently be swinging for 7 or 21 damage and being a threat to people's lives at all times. So overall, that's our game plan. We're trying to get out cheap creature tokens, treasure tokens, and we're trying to sacrifice them for value, get out the Balrog as quickly as possible, get one of our damage tripplers, and start swinging for fat damage. Now let's go over some of the all-stars of the deck. For some flavor, I kind of went with a goblin sub-theme, so we have a lot of goblin cards in here, and it works really well because you can produce a lot of goblin tokens very easily. So for some of the goblin all-stars, we have, of course, Dockside Extortionist. Treasures, like I said, do double damage for us when it comes to our commander, so Dockside is even more powerful than it normally is. I also included the new Grishnok Brash Instigator. I actually pulled this in pre-release and got to play with it. It's a very solid card, and especially goes well with our sacrifice theme. When it enters the battlefield, you get to steal a non-legendary creature, and then you also make an orc token. So it's a 3-for-1 essentially if you're going for it on that turn. You can take someone's mana dork, tap it for mana, sacrifice it, sacrifice Grishnok, sacrifice the orc army, and then you get a bunch of value towards casting your commander, and you get to take something away from your opponents as well. Another card that's surprisingly good in this deck is Impulsive Pilferer, because when it dies it creates a treasure token. So you can sacrifice it, create a treasure token, sacrifice that, and you essentially get 3 mana towards your commander. And then you can also cast it for its encore cost, where you make a copy of it for each of your opponents, and then when they die, they'll all make 3 treasure, or make a treasure each, 3 total, and that's even more value towards your commander as well. And it's only 1 mana, a common from Commander Legends, surprisingly good in this deck. And finally, another one of the big heavy hitters in this deck is Skirk Prospector, another 1 mana goblin, and its ability is you can sacrifice a goblin to add red. Because we're making a lot of goblin tokens and have a lot of goblin cards in the deck, that has a lot of targets, and it can, again, sacrificing it reduces the cost of our commander as well as gives us a mana, so it's doing double time, and it can sacrifice itself as well at the end of it. So another really heavy hitter in this deck. But beyond goblins, we also have things like Grim Hireling, Pitiless Plunderer, and Professional Facebreaker to be able to make us treasure tokens to help us cast our commander and continue to play if the game goes later. Another fantastic card for this deck is the new Orcish Bowmasters, because we can ping any target for 1 damage anytime someone draws a card beyond their draw step. So we can either clear the board of their weenies, of their mana dorks, or we can be hitting people in the face. And then it also makes us amass Orcs 1. And if we're sacrificing that continuously, it'll just continuously make us tokens, which will let us keep getting more and more value. And if we also cast a wheel, it'll make a 22/22 Orc army, which is nothing to snuff at as well. Another card that I feel like deserves a shout out is Seize the Spotlight. This card has each opponent choose Fame or Fortune. For each opponent that chooses Fame, you get to take one of their creatures, untap it, and it gains haste until end of turn. And for each player who chooses Fortune, you draw a card and create a treasure token. Because we're running a sacrifice deck and our opponents will know that fairly quickly, I don't think they're going to want to give you any of their creatures because they're just going to lose them. So it's either going to give you value through their creatures that you can sacrifice, or it's going to draw you 3 cards and create 3 treasure tokens, which is great value as well. And the final cards I want to mention are Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Altar. Like I've said, it's a sacrifice deck, so these are crucial for it. And Phyrexian Altar actually has an infinite combo with our commander that can clear the board for you. The Balrog's last ability is when the Balrog dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. So if we have our Phyrexian Altar, our Balrog, and then Pitiless Plunderer, we can sacrifice the Balrog to Phyrexian Altar for black or red, and then his death will cause Pitiless Plunderer to trigger, which will create a treasure token, and then we can sacrifice that treasure token, which will give us the black or the red that we didn't choose with the Phyrexian Altar. And then the 2 mana we produced will cover the 2 pips, and then sacrificing those 2 things will reduce the cost of the Balrog by 2. So you can infinitely cast and sacrifice the Balrog and then destroy all your opponent's creatures and artifacts. One thing I want to mention though, you are sacrificing and bringing your commander back over and over and over, so after you're done with this turn and you've cleared the board, if your commander gets removed, it's going to cost like 50 mana, so you're never getting that thing back. So that is a little bit of a warning for you there. However, in certain situations, blowing everything they have up is a great option, and you can get your commander out at the very end and swing in at them anyway. So that's the deck. Like I said, we're trying to get things out there, we're trying to sacrifice them, and then we're trying to hit people in the face with our big fat demon. I think this deck will be a lot of fun. We are in Rakdos, so it is a little bit more fragile when it comes to stack interaction, so I mainly went with a lot of gas in this deck, trying to get out tokens and get them sacrificed as much as possible. So I think it'll be pretty resilient, but let me know what you guys think. I'll leave a deck list down below so you guys can see all the cards on there. Let me know if there's anything that I missed that would go really well in this deck. I'm happy to make changes to it. This is one that I think I'm going to build myself, so I'll take any suggestions. But thank you for your time, and I will see you guys next time.